Something about this moment refuses to be ignored. At first, it looks simple. A still frame, a quiet pause, a face caught between light and shadow. But the longer you stare, the more questions begin to surface. There is a tension here that words never fully explain, a feeling that something is being held back, not because it must be hidden, but because it has no name. The image offers no grand gesture, no dramatic movement. What it gives instead is restraint, a gaze that seems slightly lifted, as if searching for something just beyond reach. The lighting is soft but uneven, casting subtle shadows that make the expression feel private, almost unguarded. It appears as though the moment was not meant to be seen, yet here it is, frozen and shared. Many viewers notice the eyes first, not because they are looking directly at anyone, but because they seem to be listening. There is a quiet alertness in the posture, shoulders relaxed but not careless, as if the body remembers where it is even while the mind drifts somewhere else. The atmosphere feels intimate despite the distance created by the frame. Nothing is stated. Everything is implied. It seems like a moment between moments, the kind that usually disappears as soon as it happens. And yet, once captured, it becomes something else entirely. A canvas for interpretation. A mirror reflecting not just what is visible, but what people bring with them when they look. This image quickly became part of a much larger conversation. Not because it offered answers, but because it arrived in a space already filled with questions. For many fans, it echoed moments they had already been talking about for years. Small glances, shared silences, scenes that felt charged without ever crossing into certainty. It is within this context that the names Taehyung and Jungkook inevitably surface. Not as a declaration, and not as confirmation, but as part of ongoing public interpretation. Online, their dynamic has long been examined through fragments like this one. Images, clips, pauses that seem ordinary on the surface, yet emotionally resonant to those watching closely. Importantly, the image itself does not tell us who is in the frame or what they are thinking. Any connection drawn is made by viewers, not proven by the moment. But that has never stopped discussion. In fact, it often fuels it. The absence of clarity becomes the very thing that keeps people talking. Across social media, reactions tend to unfold in familiar patterns. Some see closeness, reading the softness of expression as emotional openness. Others urge caution, reminding everyone that a single image can never carry the weight of a story. Many simply watch, without conclusions, letting the feeling exist without naming it. There are fans who analyze posture, lighting, and timing, breaking the image down frame by frame. There are others who step back, saying that meaning does not always need to be defined to be felt. Between these perspectives lies a quiet understanding that interpretation says as much about the observer as it does about what is observed. As the conversation deepens, the pacing slows. Words become more careful. The excitement softens into reflection. People begin to ask not what this image proves, but why it resonates. Why a single, silent moment can feel heavier than 1,000 spoken ones. Is this just coincidence? A fleeting expression caught at the wrong time? Or is it the meaning people want to see, shaped by years of emotional investment and shared history? The image never answers. It only waits. What makes moments like this powerful is not the suggestion of romance, but the humanity they reveal. A vulnerability that feels real, even if its cause remains unknown. The face in the image does not perform. It exists. And in that existence, viewers find room to project longing, connection, or simply curiosity. At the emotional peak of this visual moment, the frame seems to hold its breath. Nothing happens, yet everything feels possible. For some, it becomes a symbol of unspoken bonds. For others, it is a reminder of how easily narratives form around stillness. Both readings can coexist without canceling each other out. This restraint is what keeps the moment respectful. No claims are made. No lines are crossed. The image does not demand belief. It invites contemplation. And perhaps that is why it lingers longer than louder, more obvious scenes ever could. In the world of K-pop, where every movement is often choreographed and every word analyzed, silence becomes rare. When it appears, it stands out. It creates space. And in that space, people feel free to wonder. No explanation followed this moment. No statement arrived to define it. The image was posted, shared, discussed, and then left to exist on its own. And perhaps that uncertainty is why it continues to linger in conversations and timelines. Sometimes an image doesn't answer questions. It creates them. And long after the screen is closed, the feeling remains unresolved, waiting quietly in the background.